All right, so Awol's Guide. This is the most popular book on the trail, and I'm going to tell you why. First off, there are so many great features in this book. David Awol has done so many things to keep this current. He works really hard on this book every single year, and I can tell you it really saves a lot of us hikers out there. So starting off, let's talk about the features. So on here, you're going to have landmarks, it's going to have mileages, and elevation of the entire trail. Now, one of the biggest positives on this guide is it shows you maps of 90 different trail towns that you're going to see along the Appalachian Trail. There's more towns in that, but for all the big ones or the significant ones or the ones that the trail actually goes through, it's going to give you a map of what the town looks like, which is really awesome. In addition to that, it's going to show you all the hostels that are along the trail and all of the other services that either the towns that has on the maps or the other towns that are along the trail will have. So you can plan whether or not you want to stop in or just skip it. Now, some of the other features that I really love on here is it's got a profile of the entire trail. So you can actually see what kind of mountains you're going to be coming up to, how tall they are, the elevation changes. And then it's also going to show you the shelters. Now, when you're planning your days, you are pretty much going to plan them on what shelter you're going to end at. So this is great for being able to decide the shelter, how long you really want to hike for, and of course, again, what kind of elevation is in your way to get to your destination for that next day. Now, there are two different versions of this book that you can get. You can get either the northbound version, which is the green version right here, or the southbound version. So it's got both different versions. In addition to that, which I believe they started this year, you actually can get a loose leaf version, which I'll tell you why I would go with a loose leaf version. And then they have the PDF version. So you can buy it hard copy, you can buy it a loose leaf, and you can buy it a PDF version. Now, when you buy this book, it's going to come with a really durable Ziploc bag, which you can use throwing this in so it doesn't get wet along the trail. And there are about 224 total pages of this book. It weighs 7.8 ounces, which is a little bit of weight, but I'm going to give you a little tip as to how you can cut a little bit of that weight down. And I will tell you from the 2015 version that I got right here to the 2017 version that will be you'll be using next year, it has dropped about 3 or 4 ounces. This right here weighs about 11.8 ounces. So it's dropped, 4 ounces really in the last couple years, which is kind of nice. Now, I'm going to actually do a demo of the book so those of you that haven't seen it actually can see some of these features that I'm talking about. But before I do that, I just wanted to say a couple things. So first off, to get this book, you will go to David's website, which is theatguide.com. Again, theatguide.com. Right now, if you order your AT guide, there's a pre-sale rate right now, 15% off of the book that will ship out sometime in mid-January. So the book itself right now is going to cost you $13.55. It's a deal. It's a steal. Got to get it. And then the PDF version is $7.60. Now, what I would do is I'd purchase both. What I did is I purchased both. I kept a paper copy with me, and then I had the PDF version on my phone because I wanted to have both. Now, there are a lot of advantages of being able to have both. I strongly believe that you got to have a paper version. There might be a time where you lose your phone, or perhaps your phone just dies. It's probably more likely it's going to die. You don't have any battery, and you have no way to be able to navigate the trail. So you definitely want to have a paper version. Now, I wouldn't be bringing this whole entire book with you. What I did is I actually cut this into 4 different sections, and I just basically mailed myself out the 4 different sections along the course of the trail. Now, which brings me to why I would get the loose leaf version. Then you wouldn't have to worry about cutting and doing all that stuff because it will all be loose. So strongly encourage getting the loose leaf. Now, there will be some people that will actually want to keep the entire guide for the whole trail, and because it's they're going to want to track where they stop, they want to put notes in, all that kind of stuff, which is cool. That's fine. Just you know that you're going to be carrying 8 ounces on this book. So another best bet that I got is when I cut my book into fours, I would rip off a couple pages, and I would have a couple pages on me, whatever I was going to basically hike that day. Typically, you will be able to see about, I think it's like 30 or 40 miles between 2 pages. So I put them front to back, and I would put this in my pocket. And it was just easy for me to be able to get out and look where I'm at if I wanted to see this, or if I wanted to see a map of a town that I'm in. But really easy, and a lot easier than actually having a fourth of a book to pull out and keep in your pocket. So that was one thing that I did on the trail. Now, when I got done hiking the certain areas of the trail, I would just throw away that piece of the map. Myself, the way that I logged my journey was here on YouTube, so I didn't feel I need to have any notes aside from that on these pages. If I did, I'd probably put them in my notes feature on my iPhone. But anyway, that's what I use the paper version for. And again, I would strongly recommend having the paper version. The PDF version is great because you can just look at that. When you're sitting in your tent, you might want to. I know there are times for me that I want to look ahead 40, 50 pages to see something coming up so I can make some plans down the road, a month down the road, or something like that. Or if I just wanted to see some of the elevation changes in the New England section or whatever, it was just really cool to have that. But I will tell you with the PDF version, when you are trying to zoom in on the maps, they are not very clear. So which is another reason why you want to have a paper version, because you're just not going to be able to see and read everything on some of the maps. At least that's what I thought when I was using it on my phone. So anyway, I would recommend getting both versions. Again, $13.55 for the hard copy or loose leaf, and $7.60 for the PDF. If you order the PDF, you actually can download it today. I think what he does is he sends out a link, and you basically have 4 or 5 copies that you can download to a phone or to a device. After those 4 or 5, then it's out. Again, you're getting this at theatguide.com. So let's go through a little tutorial on the PDF version. All right, welcome to the AT Guide. So this is the PDF version. I keep it stored in my iBooks once I download it onto my iPhone. So starting off, this is just going to show you all of the symbols that you're going to see during the course of this book. You'll get really used to knowing what each symbol means, but it has it here on the first page. Starting off, the first 10 pages are really going to just tell you information that you didn't need to know about through hiking the Appalachian Trail. It's going to talk about mail drop guidelines, basically how to do that. It's also going to tell you how to get to Springer Mountain, in addition to the outfitters that are around that area, and it will show you some maps as well. Starting off, this page right here actually will go through the approach trail. Now, unlike 2015, the 2016 version, which is this PDF version, didn't actually have the elevation profile of the first 8.8 mile approach trail, but outside of that, it's going to tell you each of these waypoints, and it will tell you the exact elevation, and then again, any of those symbols relating to what might be at that specific waypoint. So looking at here, the start, it shows Amicalola Falls State Park. It is northbound. It's going to have northbound and then southbound. So northbound is going to tell you how many miles you have gone in the trip, and then southbound it's going to tell you how many miles you have gone. So obviously they're going to be the opposite of each other. So starting off here, the Archway, which is the famous picture you've probably seen in a lot of other thru hikers videos or posts, the elevation is at 1,800 feet. As you can see here, there's some symbols here. They got restrooms. There's a place where you actually can buy some snacks. That little AT circle means that you can actually, if you have a passport, AT passport, you can get a stamp there, and it's got water. So going through the course here, it will go you through the entire Appalachian, or excuse me, the approach trail. Now going into the meat and potatoes of the book, this starts Springer Mountain, which is the start of the Appalachian Trail. And again, as you can see down here, my mileage is 0. If I was southbound, I've already gone 2,189.1 miles, which is the entire distance of the Appalachian Trail. You're going to see there's tons of waypoints on here. And again, the nice thing I like about the PDF version is I can zoom in and I can zoom out of each of these. So wanted to show you that feature In addition to this, it's going to tell you a few other things that I didn't mention in the beginning about the waypoints. It will have the elevation of each of those waypoints, but the thing that this does not tell you is if there's not a waypoint, you're not going to really know what the elevation is. The lines that are drawn across here, you'll see 1,000, 3,000, 5,000 signify what elevation that you're at, but there will be times that you'll just kind of have to guess. You'll probably be within 100, 200 feet of it, but you'll just have to guess of what the exact elevation is. But loved using this PDF version again when I was just sitting in my tent at night and I was kind of planning out my next few days or maybe just my next day and wanted to see an overview of the actual profile of my hike. Now, one of the things I mentioned is for the PDF version, when you zoom in, it gets a little blurry. So as you can see here, I can make out the words, but it's just not as clear as the map. So that was one big difference between the PDF version and the actual paperback version. Some of the maps I found are better than others. This one's not too bad because I still can make out some of the words. Now, right here is just an example of the services that's going to tell you at each of the stops that there are services at. Whether it's right on the trail or it's off the trail, it will tell you how far off the trail. So starting off here is 20 at mile marker 20.8 Woody Gap. There's a hiker hostel there. It's going to tell you everything you need to know about that hiker hostel. It also will have a phone number attached to if it's a hostel, if it's an outfitter, grocery store. So if you want to call, you can make that phone call. That will be useful too if you want to send a mail drop. You know how to get a hold of them. And then using those symbols like we talked about in the beginning, it's going to show you exactly all of the symbols that attribute to that specific service that is on or off the trail. So this is the great thing about Awol's guide because it just goes into great detail. And again, David spends a lot of time just making up all of this. So love this. Use this again all the time. Now, when you are looking at the waypoints, I did forget to point out that anytime that there is a waypoint that there are some sort of services at or something that is important, it's going to tell you that there's a page number attached to it. So right here, when I go to, looks like Red Clay Gap, mile marker 48.9, there's something going on there, and I'd have to go back to page 14 to see what was going on. So I'm on page 12 now, so I'm going to go up to page 14 here, and looks like there is a mountain retreat center that's over there, so I can actually stay there. Looks like I can pick up some sort of groceries or snacks. They'll do laundry, but anyway, another great thing about that, I wanted to point that out. So anyway, these are great things that you can use to the PDF guide, but this PDF guide is only good if you have battery on your phone and you have your phone. So again, why I recommend having a paper version as well and keeping both. So anyway, so that's a little bit about the PDF guide. I think that's just a really brief overview, but I wanted to show you that.